How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Indiana, I'm sorry for the delay in the start. Had major microphone issues that just recently got resolved, so hopefully some of you are still up with me. If we don't get any calls tonight, it's a late night, technical problems. That's kind of life that we're living with here. 812-393-2600 is the number, and a historic night at Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall. Indiana 92-74 winners over the Oregon Ducks in a game that, look, history. It's just a historic night. Not only did they celebrate the 1975-76 team, but Lamar Wilkerson, 41 points on 13 of 20 shooting, 6 of 12 from three-point range. The first player since George McGinnis during the 1970-71 season to score 40-plus points in a game in a single season. He obviously had 44 earlier this year, and really was a catalyst for Indiana to score 56 points in the second half. Lamar had 25 of his points after the break. Just was fantastic all night. But then you can't overlook Sam Alexis going 8 of 8 from the floor on the night. It's the second best performance in a single game in IU history in terms of how many shots that you've made without missing one. Darren Davis and Will Sheehy both had 9 of 9 nights. Sam Alexis continues to play really, really well as he takes the next step in his development. Again, 812-393-2600 is the number. We get on the air about 11:50 p.m. Eastern Time on a Monday night. Thanks to some issues, I had hoped to start this about 25 minutes earlier. Had to figure out what was wrong with my computer. I'm not exactly still all that certain on what exactly the issue was, but it got fixed. And that's the important part. Let's start off with this game as we wait. Lines are open. Want to hear from you. Really appreciate you guys being here. They also, Trika, you're exactly right. They announced we're going to have a bronze statue of Bob Knight here in the South Lobby. Huge addition here. And again, it's that you're running out of steps that you could take in terms of closure. Once Coach Knight was here, that opened the door for all of that. And here we are, now 6 years later after that night, and statue is going to be in the lobby, and deservedly so. I know that ended poorly, but that is past and in the past. Bob Knight, rest his soul, is gone, but he will certainly never be forgotten. Especially statues are pretty important and rare for what Indiana does around here. On the chat, Kelly says, who else were they hoping would leave Lamar in to try and beat his previous record? I was bummed when they took him out. He was on fire and for sure could have beat his previous record. He actually said in the post game that he had asked to come out prior to that and decided, and Coach DeVries kept him in. He knew what he was doing. He was like, let's get him to 40. Let's get him those points, see if he could get to 44 and break the Assembly Hall record that he set earlier this season. It is a joy to watch that kid play, especially when he gets rolling. He gets hot. He's very, very difficult to guard, very difficult to get anything past him. And, he was just fantastic. Wasn't forcing things, but just knocking down shots. 13 of 20 on the night, 6 of 12 from three-point range, 9 of 11 from the foul line. He added 5 rebounds and 3 assists, 2 turnovers, was plus 23 on the night, led everybody with plus 23. Just a fantastic night from that kid. And he's just a killer. When shots are falling, he's tough to stop. The Hoosiers 11 of 27 from three-point range. Should mention, last game they were 5 of 22 from 3. This one, 11 of 27. I like the efficiency there of the fact that they were knocking down shots and they weren't forcing them, and it was fantastic to see what they were doing. 8 of 22 from the field in the second half for the Hoosiers. 7 of 11 from three-point range. So let's do our journalism school math here. Indiana is 7 of 11 from three-point range. 18 of 22 overall. That means that they went 11 of 11 from 2-point range after halftime. That's getting the job done, man. That is just straight up smoking hot. And everybody got on board. The ball was moving. 22 assists on 30 made baskets. Indiana shoots 30 of 50 from the field overall, 60%. I missed just 4 shots in the second half, 18 of 22 in the second half. And it just hammered an Oregon team that isn't good. So let's not overreact with this, but it's still a win and a historic one at that. Indiana gets out rebounded in this one, 25-24. Didn't turn Oregon over a bunch, just 6 turnovers, and Oregon shot 44.6% for the night. So it wasn't like it was a great defensive performance by Indiana, but they just knocked down threes. And when you have a guy like Wilkerson who could just turn it up whenever he wants to, it makes a huge difference on what is possible for a team. 812-393-2600. Please give me a call. Join in on the chat. Want to hear from you. It's late. I really appreciate you guys hanging in here and sticking around. Want to talk some IU basketball with us. Indiana has really owned Oregon as a university over the past several weeks, beating them in the regular season in football, beating them in the postseason in football, beating them here at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. So they have to be happy and hope that they don't meet Indiana again. But Indiana picks up its 17th win of the season overall. That's a nice number. It's a nice number, and they just keep plugging along with that 8-6 in conference. And I think they've updated the stats. Let me see for Wilkerson. He is up to 21.2 points a game. It's been a while since Indiana's had a scorer like him. And he just, when he's hot, it just completely changes everything that the Hoosiers do. That said, he has just been such a consistent player for Indiana this season. That's one guy that you could count on game in, game out as putting up big numbers. Putting up big numbers. He had, his last several games since the loss in Michigan when he had 8. Otherwise, 27 at Rutgers, 19 against Purdue, 24 at UCLA, 33 at USC, 25 against Wisconsin, 41 tonight. And he's just rolling. Just rolling. So again, Wilkerson, 41 points, 13 of 20 shooting. Sam Alexis, 16 points, 8 of 8 shooting. 5 rebounds, had a couple of assists, had 4 fouls, but he played 25 minutes and had a block. He was fantastic, and he continues to put up some numbers too. And the development of that, being able to score in the post for Sam Alexis, is incredibly important because it balances the floor in a way that's been missing for the most part. He was 4 of 4 against USC. He was 9 of 10 against Wisconsin the other night and scored 19 points. So in his last 2 games, he's 17 of 18 shooting and averaging, 16 and a half points a game. You bet the Hoosiers will take that. Tucker DeVries, 15 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3-point range. He adds 3 rebounds and 7 assists versus just 1 turnover in 33 minutes. Nice job by Tucker. Nick Dorn, he gets the start again, 11 points on 2 of 7 shooting. All of those came from 3-point range, but he did have 5 of 5 from the line. 3 rebounds, a couple of assists in 34 minutes. Connor Enright, 5 points on 1 of 2 shooting. 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 36 minutes, plus 22 on the night. And those are your starters. Off the bench, Reed Bailey plays 15 minutes, 3 points on 1 of 2 shooting, had a couple of turnovers. Tayton Connerway played just 4 minutes. He had 1 point on the free throw line, had a rebound. Trent Sisley plays just 6 minutes. So what Darren DeVries has done is really shortened this bench quite a bit. Yeah, he threw in the walk-ons in the final minute, but all five or four of Indiana's five starters played at least 33 minutes. Sam Alexis 25 minutes. Reed Bailey got 15 minutes. 3 points, no rebounds. Josiah Miles played 9 minutes. Didn't score, but did have 3 rebounds. No, Reed Bailey had 0 rebounds, my bad. A nice, balanced scoring opportunity from the starters, but that bench isn't there. The one thing that Darren DeVries could count on in this one was the fact that those starters now have a week off. They got 6 days off to rest up. So this little pause comes at a good time for the Hoosiers because they've been rolling pretty hard, and so being able to get a little bit of a break here before these tough road games at Illinois, at Purdue, a home game against Northwestern, then a home game against Michigan State, Minnesota, and Ohio State to close out. That's the 6 games to close out the season. The Hoosiers have put themselves in a nice position at this point in the season. 812-393-2600. As we go into the midnight hour, the Hoosiers, a really nice crowd here at Assembly Hall. Nice energy from these guys. The fans came to play, and they were on the officials pretty heavily, and understandably so, because they weren't great. An odd sequence to start the game. A bad toss for the opening tip. IU fans kind of booed. Official kind of shook his head a little bit and then just tossed the ball up again. Looked like he threw it towards Oregon a little bit more than he maybe should have. It was real nonchalant and didn't care for that. You also had another call where Tucker DeVries tied up an Oregon player, and they called a foul on DeVries that looked real clean. And that ended up leading to the first 4 points of the game for Oregon because they made a free throw. Because inexplicably they called that as he was trying to shoot instead of it just being a held ball. And then the guy split free throws, had a rebound, knocked down a 3. It was quite the exchange. But Big Ten officials are going to Big Ten official, and that's exactly what they did. Just now seeing, by the way, that Arizona lost today, which leaves one unbeaten team. I think Miami of Ohio is unbeaten in the country. Indiana honored the 75-76 team during halftime. Had a press conference. Go to Peegs.com to see that press conference and what that one was like. But that team looks like it's probably going to end up being, once again, the only undefeated team in the past half century. It already is. And it looks like that streak is going to live. Tim Plank says, just jumped on, so not sure if you've talked about it yet, but any chance Lamar Wilkerson can get himself into the Conference Player of the Year discussion? Fair question. Darren DeVries was asked about it. I'll be sure to bring you that here in just a few minutes. But could he be part of that discussion? He's certainly deserving of it. I don't think that he probably will get a lot of extra attention for it. Because of how Indiana has been, very middle of the pack, and usually they save those for the guys that are conference leaders. But certainly, first team all conferences seems like it would be a shoe-in situation for him. But Conference Player of the Year, he might have to produce at this level for the next several games for that to be a realistic opportunity for him to earn those kind of honors, because that does tend to be reserved for other people. But interesting question because he deserves all the accolades that he can get. And you're going to hear Darren DeVries talk about that here in just a few minutes. But he is... God, I just think about what this Indiana team could have been like with the balance of an outside shooter with the inside power of Malik Renew and Omar Ballo last year. Would he have had the freedom to shoot the way he did. I don't know, because Woody wasn't about that kind of life. But certainly it works. It works for him. And when he's rolling, baby, I mean, he's really been incredible of late, and pretty much all season. I mean, just Indiana's most consistent scorer by far. They get nice production, sometimes from Tucker DeVries, sometimes from Nick Dorn, recently from Sam Alexis. Indiana can hurt you in a lot of different ways, but the way that is consistent is Lamar Wilkerson. 812-393-2600. Going to go ahead and bring you some comments right now from head coach Darren DeVries during his post-game press conference. This is going to run, it runs about 10 minutes. That feels like a long time in this one, so I'll cut it off with just a couple minutes left. But wanted you to hear a little bit of what he had to say on this. I say it's a historic night because it is. I mean, it's a win over a not very good Oregon team, but history is history. When a guy scores 40 points for the second time in a season, and the last guy to do it multiple times in a season was George McGinnis in the 1970-71 season. That's 55 years ago. That's history. Sam Alexis, 8 of 8. Second best single game performance in terms of most shots made without a miss. In IU history ties that. Again, Darren Davis and Will Sheehy were the number one at 9 of 9. That's a historic night. So I'm not being overdramatic with that. That's where it is. And plus the announcement of the Bob Knight statue that will be in the South Lobby of Assembly Hall. That can't be overlooked either. I mean, look, this place has done a lot of healing since the Knight firing, since Knight came back 6 years ago. It's gone a long way. This is a program that has been inconsistent at best over that time. This year, sitting here right as they are right now, at 17-8 overall, 8-6 in conference, likely going to be a 20-win season. And these performances, like what Wilkerson is turning in, that helps connect with fans. Connor Enright is a guy that is connecting with fans. None of these guys are going to be here next year. But it also kind of showcases what it is that a team coached by Darren DeVries is capable of. And you start to get some balance, start to build a foundation for this program. I think it's going to be critically important, because if you look at the last 2 years of Mike Woodson's tenure, 19 wins in 23-24, 10-10 in Big Ten play. 19-13 last year, 10-10 in Big Ten play. Indiana sits at 17-8 right now with 6 games to go. I could see 3 more wins coming. Minnesota, Ohio State, Northwestern, those are 3 games. Illinois, Purdue, and Michigan State are going to be difficult, but Indiana's beat Purdue once this year. Playing Michigan State at home, gives them that opportunity. So that path is there for 20 wins. And to finish above 500 in the Big Ten, it would be a huge step forward. And it'd certainly make this season a success as we speak. Going to go ahead and bring you comments from head coach Darren DeVries at this point. Again, we'll run around 8 minutes on this. Here's Darren DeVries during his post-game press conference following Indiana's win over Oregon.
Darren, obviously you've talked about kind of Lamar, your confidence in his confidence, essentially. But how have you seen him? I mean, I think he's shooting career highs in twos. I think he's already attempted more free throws than he did either the last 2 seasons. Assist numbers are up, rebounds. How are you seeing him just kind of embrace kind of the all-around role of being this team's focal point?
Yeah. First, I want to first recognize the 76 team for being back, and having so many of them back tonight. I thought that was great. A special night, for everyone, and had so many of them that were able to make it back. And obviously, Quinn Buckner's a big supporter of IU athletics, and that's a pretty cool event. So. But Lamar's he's pretty special. I told you that after our Wisconsin game that he's one of those guys who's going to play this game for a long time, and you can see as he's gotten more comfortable with what we're doing, and we've challenged him with some things defensively, playmaking, creating. He's accepted those challenges and just took off with it, and now you're seeing kind of the full package of what he's able to do. He had a few extra ones out there I hadn't seen before that were pretty cool. So, that was as impressive of second half performance as I've seen.
Yeah, just kind of following up on that on Lamar. Some people are starting to discuss like what kind of honors he should be getting and considered for, whatever. If you were going to make a case, hey, I think he should be considered for, I don't know,
all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of them. What would make the case, just from the coach's viewpoint?
Just look at the numbers, look at what he's doing. And he's a big focal point of defenses. What he's able to do at both ends of the floor. He's a complete player, and that's something that how hard it is to get 41 points, and he's done it twice this year already, and putting up monster numbers with percentages to go with it. And he's an incredible teammate on top of it. So there's nothing that, I would not be in favor of him being the best player and voting for them to be the best player in the league.
Well, Lamar was obviously kind of a cheat code in that second half, but what else did you kind of see? What was the difference? It was like 9 lead changes in the first half, and you guys kind of took off there in the second half. What was kind of the key to kind of maybe the other parts outside of Lamar, obviously just going off?
Yeah, I thought we wanted to get to a little more of our screening actions in the second half and take advantage of what we thought could be some good opportunities there. Using Lamar a little bit as a screener, using Tuck as a screener, using him as Tucker as a facilitator a little bit as well, and just get them moving a little bit more. I thought we allowed them to play a little bit more in some shell spots. They didn't have to chase us as much as we would have liked in the first half. And I thought we came out at halftime. I thought the guys really moved and shared the ball. We cut with more force, screened with a little more force, and then they were able to knock them down too. That's part of it as well.
From when you all hit that hard patch, I think it was like mid-January, to where you're at now, where has this team grown? Just why are you guys playing at this really high level now, to where the year really probably was on the edge of spiraling and it's now on a really strong track?
Yeah, I just think we're really found an identity at both ends of the floor. It's just gotten better and better and better. Even during those rough patches, yeah, there was a game or two where we weren't great, but there was also, like we've talked about, there's also 30 minutes of a lot of those games we were actually pretty good. We just weren't sustaining it for a full 40, and that's a problem. That's part of you can't be that team. No. But I think we've gotten a much better. Our floor spacing's been better. The ball movement's been better. Defensively, I think we've gotten more connected. I think there's still some work that we got to continue to get better at as we wind down this season. But I just like the effort that they give every day. Even during that losing streak, they never came to practice and hung their heads. They came to get to work the next day. They came to get better. They came to go win the next one. And that's all they really care about. Because that locker room, they have great energy, great enthusiasm, great love for the game and love for each other. And you can tell they're really enjoying, being out there and playing for everyone.
Yeah, Darren, I'm kind of curious. You have a little bit of a break, and then you have 2 intriguing road games. How much time are you able to enjoy this before you're totally dialed in on that?
Probably I'll get home in about 30 minutes, so yeah, we'll start in on it. But it is nice to have a little time here. So, we got a big road game coming up with Illinois, followed up with at Purdue. So, but this is a big week for us. Just from we got a stretch run coming up. It was good timing. We needed a little rest. You hate that we're in a great rhythm right now, but we also got to get healed up a little bit. So that'll be good for us to have a day or two here to get our feet back under us and then get refocused and ready for a big road game on Sunday.
Coach, you're obviously quite familiar with Dana Altman. What's it like to strategically coach against someone you know so well? And then also, is there a little added level of satisfaction to beat someone you consider a mentor?
No, I have so much love and affection for Coach Altman. Like he's one of the best that there is out there, and I felt honored to be on the sideline with him because he's been doing this such a long time, and he's been so good to myself and my family. Gave me a start in this profession, so I have the utmost respect, for him and what he's done, and just an incredible person and coach, obviously. So, it was for me a special moment just to be there and share that moment with him on the sideline.
Coach in the back. Speaking of special coaches, Bob Knight, obviously the announcement tonight that there's going to be a statue in the South Lobby. What was your reaction to that, knowing his history here at IU and what the legacy is here?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think any way you can honor, especially Coach Knight and the greats that have played here. I think that's something that is well deserved, and it's great that it's going to be recognized.
With Sam, is there anything you can pinpoint that has allowed him to what seems like go to another level here of late?
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I think it's a little bit of us maybe figuring it out too. Like he's given us these last two games some low block presence that maybe we haven't utilized enough. To be honest with you, like sometimes as coaches, you got to admit your own mistakes. So I think he's done a great job of taking advantage. The Wisconsin game was a little more on switches. There was a couple on likes, but tonight he was able to do it big on big and go get to a spot and get into a move. And I thought he had a couple nice kickouts out of there as well. So that's something we're going to continue to try to utilize because getting some more paint touches, whether it's off a dribble penetration, cutting, or post ups, it certainly helps our offense and frees up our shooters maybe even a little bit more.
So there's Darren DeVries during his post-game press conference. I want to call out that last answer that he had, where he said sometimes it's coaches figuring it out as well. That's notable to me. And the reason being is we didn't have a whole lot of that over the last 4 years. Not a lot of, we had a ton of, I got to get him over the hump, but not a whole lot of, I think maybe the coaches have been wrong. Maybe we should have done a little bit more with him and looked at it that way. You didn't have a lot of that. The fact that Darren DeVries is sitting up there in front of a live microphone and saying, the coaches maybe could have done a better job with this. I give him credit for that. Got to give him credit for that. Because he's saying, we are adjusting. Maybe we didn't go into that as hard as maybe we should have. Talks about some, some different issues that have come up. And just agreed to deal with it. I mean, it just agreed. Sometimes something is working that maybe we had previously thought would work, and he's answering the call. And that's all these guys going down the stretch run here. It's got to be a sense of urgency for everybody. It's their last go around, so they better come to play every time out. Last call for calls, 812-393-2600 is the number. You give me a call, you will get on the air. Want to talk just a little bit, too, about just where this team is going. What is the ceiling for this team? Well, we saw the 4-game losing streak earlier this year in the Big Ten, and Indiana didn't look very good then. Oregon's not good, so we don't want to overreact from this thing. Still, a win's a win. So Indiana's metrics are very good. They look like even if they go 500 on the way out, get to 20 wins, I think they're going to get into the tournament. Get a couple of extra wins there. Now, you cannot be losing at home to Northwestern. You can't be dropping some of these games that you need to. If you want to feel real safe, maybe you go ahead and win a ball game or two in the Big Ten tournament. But just getting to the tournament would be a successful season for Darren DeVries. He's building a style of play, I think, that's going to be very attractive to players with the freedom to knock down threes, but also showing that he's able to adjust and have guys score inside as well if they're capable of it. Sam Alexis is showing that, and that development of Alexis, who's building confidence as the season has gone on, I think is going to be real attractive for people as well. Because that's a kid that hasn't put up big numbers at Florida most of this year, but here it is, back end of the year, developing. All of a sudden, 14-1, 19 in one game, 14 in the next. You're benefiting as a big, and you bring in those bigs and get some balance on the floor. You could do some special things. And so this is a team that has positioned itself in a pretty damn good spot to get to the tournament and be a dangerous team. Athleticism, quicker team, speed, those things give them trouble. So they may be limited by that. But for the first season of the Darren DeVries era, I like the way things are progressing, and I like the way guys are coming along. Finishing 500 or better in the Big Ten would be a huge step forward. Given the turnover, obviously, the past 2 years, Indiana's been 10-10 in the Big Ten. But it's still with the style of play and a more modern style of play than what we've seen here. Better accountability, better and showing that guys could put points on the board like Lamar Wilkerson makes a huge difference here. And so excited about what it is that we're going to be able to see from this ball club. 92-74 winners at Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall to knock off Oregon. Now Indiana has 6 days off. They don't return here to play a Big Ten game until February 24th, I believe. So they get a couple of weeks before their next home game, but there are opportunities for them to do some nice things along the way. It's going to be challenging when they go on the road, but this is a team that has overcome some challenges already, and you have to like what you see. Historic night at Assembly Hall. Bob Knight's going to have a statue. Indiana has a multiple 40-point scorer in a single season as a guy that is pacing this team and being a catalyst. You like the development that you see. Now they get a little bit of time to rest. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs Postgame Live. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andrushock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time, but for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.